All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is June 4th, 2026. My name is Coach Kerrigan, lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room, day trading service for hit and run candlesticks family. All right, how I captured 4K today with a 103K account. Let's take a look at the markets, see what we traded. Let's take a peek at what we traded yesterday. All right, so price right here appears to be range bound. This was yesterday. All right, between 760, 757. Okay, so I'll be using the 3 and the 5 minute charts. While price resides inside the range, I plan to trade a range breakout with confirmation, downside target 755.30. So let's take a look at that, and let's take a look at the 5 minute chart, and let's pan over to that. So here we are with the 5 minute chart, and let's pan over. All right, so we want 755.30. So let's put a number on that, 755.30 right there. So here we got an exhaustion candle right into 755.30, and you can see we bounce off of it, trade underneath it, and then we have a 10-minute downtrend into the close right here. So we got a 10-minute downtrend right here coming down underneath. We've had a range breakout. Again, 757. All right, let's take a look at those. Okay, so 757. We're looking for the breakout. All right, so you can see 757's right up here. All right, so we break out, so we trade the downtrend into the 755.30 number. We get hung up on VWAP and trade the 10-minute downtrend all the way down to the low of day, all right, which happens to be 753. 753 and some change. Okay, so that's our trade from yesterday, 753.50, which was the call wall. All right, so let's take a look at what we traded today. And we had the guidance for today is right here. Okay, so let's try it one more time. So here's the guidance for today. Pre-market, post-market appears to be range bound between 750, 752.60. I'll be using, again, the 3 and the 5 minute charts while price resides inside the range. I plan to trade the range breakout with the confirmation upside pre-market call wall 757.50. All right, that's our target for today on a range breakout to the upside. All right, so let's pan over. Let's take a look at what we got early in the morning, and you can see we're in a range right here, right there, and right here. All right, so we're in a range right there between about 750, all right, and then 750, 752.20, 752.50, that area right there. And we have a range breakout as we pan over. You got a range breakout, and it goes into a 10-minute uptrend, which lasts basically all day. Okay, range breakout lasts all day long. All right, so we traded that range breakout, captured 5,300 on that range breakout that lasted all day long. All right, now if you want to see the video for that, the video for that is captured right here. And you can watch me do that. I'll put this over here in the link. Place that in the link right there. All right, and there's our range breakout. And of course, you can see me trade it right there live in front of traders. Okay, so there's price action with the 10-minute uptrend. Of course, we got the trend day. We've got the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that broke through resistance. We did the gap fill. All right, between 11 and noon. Means there's a 70-80% chance price continues to rise all the way up into 2 o'clock, 2:30. 30% chance we end the day at the high of the day at the end of the day. So looking like that's going to happen as well. All right, so price action moving up right there. All right, in 10-minute uptrend. So that's how we made our money today. Nice, easy day for traders. If you're having troubles, get with me. I'd be happy to help you out so that you can stop struggling. All right, that's all I want is for you guys to feel that success, because it feels good when you're trading. It sucks if you're not winning when you're trading. Make your life a lot easier. All right, so that's free coaching again from me. If you want to know where to find it, it's in right here. Come on up here to the notes. All right, actually notes right there, and you come on over here to Coaching with John, and you can find that right there. There's the link. Hook up with me on Teams. Let me know who you are. Okay, it's right there, free under notes, free 15 minutes, and we do longer than 15 minutes right there. So we'll take this, get this out of the way. All right, so on the 10-minute chart, coming into the close, looking like 10-minute bullish consolidation so far. We got 3 more 10-minute candles to go. Not sure where they're gonna plot. Looks like 10-minute bullish consolidation all the way into the close so far. On the 2-hour chart, we have ourselves the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8. We've got daylight between the 8 EMA and the 3 EMA. Got a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. On the daily candle, you can see we got a lower low and a lower high. We're closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. See what the low here is. Okay, the low there was 749.85. Don't know how we got that low. The low here is 749.80, 749.85. So lower low, lower high, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17. The origin of this rally comes all the way back here at the end of March. You can see we're at the top of quadrant 4, so we're bullish, still in an uptrend. We haven't made any lower lows, so there's SPY on the daily chart. Weekly chart's going to be bullish and in an uptrend, and monthly chart's going to be bullish and in an uptrend right there. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ on the 10-minute chart. QQQ got a 10-minute uptrend. See the picture of money? There was the ADMA and the VWAP getting wider and wider. The distance between them getting wider and wider. 10-minute bullish consolidation into the close on the QQQ. All right, on the 2-hour chart, we've got the sticks and the 3 crossing up over the 8. So we've got 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. You can see the 3 EMA. It's got daylight, and it's rising up over the 8. So we got daylight between the 3 and the 8. So 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. On the daily candle, remember yesterday they made a new all-time high. Daily candle got a lower low, lower high, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17. Again, origin of that rally starts at the end of March. Okay, you can see price go all the way up. So that's bullish and in an uptrend on QQQ daily chart. Weekly and monthly, also bullish. There's monthly, bullish, and in an uptrend, there's a high. We're making higher highs. Weekly chart, of course, there's a high. We're making higher highs, bullish, and in an uptrend for QQQ. Let's take a look on the daily chart for IWM. All right, IWM looking like almost a new all-time high. Let's see what we got here. We've got 292.74, 292.68. So looking like an outside day. That's a lower low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish and in an uptrend. I wouldn't doubt it if the IWM puts in a new all-time high before the closing hour. So there's IWM on the daily chart. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow makes a new all-time high. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. Again, IWM, the origin of that rally starts at the end of March, and we rally all the way up. New all-time high for Diamond Dow, obviously bullish and in an uptrend. IWM, again, the origin of their rally starts back here at the end of March. 2 months we rally up. Again, close to having a new all-time high. Remember, the all-time high is 292.74. We're at 292.68 right now. That's the high. So chances are we're going to get a new all-time high from IWM. Let's take a look at FNGU. Lower high, lower low, closing under bullish trap, but over the rising 17. It's in the middle of quadrant 4. All right, so it's bullish, no lower lows, still in an uptrend for FNGU. Again, here's the origin of that rally, starts at the end of March, and we rip all the way up there. So still up there in the upper third, middle of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend right there. All right, let's take a look at silver and gold. Okay, so for silver and gold, we've got higher low, higher high, closing under a bearish trap under the falling 17. This is silver. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP, we're at the bottom of quadrant 3. That's going to be bearish. Still haven't made any lower lows, so we're bearish and still in an uptrend. No, we're neutral. We're neutral because we haven't made any lower lows. We're neutral because we're not in the upper third. We're not in the lower third. So neutral and in a dysfunctional uptrend. We haven't made lower lows, so price action is still in an uptrend. There's a high. There's a higher high. Since making that higher high, price has done nothing but drift lower or over to the right. So silver is neutral and still in that dysfunctional uptrend right there. Okay, origin of that silver rally, that's an all-time high up there. And that pink line's the all-time high anchored VWAP. Starts back here in 2022. Okay, so there's our all-time high anchored VWAP. That's that pink line right there. Let's move this over some. All right, so that's silver on the daily chart. Let's take a look at GLD. All right, for gold, we're still in the upper third, so we're still bullish up here. Still in a downtrend. We have not made any higher highs. Okay, got a double bottom here. You can see we made a double bottom here that's lower than that double bottom. So that's clearly in a downtrend. Price action, higher low, higher high. Closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, bullish because we're in the upper third, but still in a downtrend for GLD. Let's take a look at USO. Remember, USO still in a downtrend till they make a higher high. Okay, they got themselves in that downtrend by making a lower low. Here's a low. They made a lower low here about 5 days ago, 4 days ago. Price action for today is a lower high and a lower low. We closed underneath a bullish trap, closed underneath the flat 17. We're in the bottom or the middle of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish, but still in a dysfunctional downtrend because we're not moving down. We're actually melting up or over to the right. So USO, bullish, dysfunctional downtrend on USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG got the higher low and the higher high, closed over the bullish trap over the rising 17. We'll pan way out here. That's a 14-month high up there. That's a 14-month high anchored VWAP. You can see clearly we're at the in the middle of quadrant 1, so we're in the lower third, so that makes us bearish. All right, but we're in an uptrend because on the daily candles, we're making, you got a high there, you got a low there. We're making higher highs and higher lows. So UNG bearish, but in an uptrend currently on UNG. Let's take a look at internals. We'll take a look at T2101. All right, so market moved up today, and you can see internals moved down here on the market breadth, absolute breadth, participation. Kind of want to see an increase in participation. That's a bearish clue for me right there, T2101. T2122, bullish clue up here. We ripped out of the sell zone to make a higher high in the buy zone, only to be tossed out by the bears into the buyer's chop zone over here. So bullish clue spending the whole day up above the gold line, which happens to be the 50-yard line, 50 over the 50-yard line. So bullish control for price action today, T2122. Let's take a look at T2123. T2123 got a bullish gap up, never filled by the bears today. Did they make a higher high? No, they did not make a higher high. They did not make a lower low either, all right, which makes them still in a downtrend. They're underneath that rising 200 SMA. That's not where you want to be if you're a bull. Currently, okay, you can see here with the quad lines on there. This is the origin of the move back here at the end of March, beginning of April. We rallied up, made a new all-time high. Currently, we had a pullback. We stayed in the upper third, so we're still bullish up here and still in a downtrend for making that lower low yesterday. So T2123, 15-minute chart, still in a downtrend. All in all, look at price move up and over to the right. That's a bull flag, but on the 15-minute time frame, that's a downtrend right there because we made lower lows. Still haven't made that higher high. That's T2123, 15-minute chart. I'll pan out. Again, you can see we're up here in the upper third. So obviously we're in the middle of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish, all right? But in a downtrend because we didn't make any higher highs here. The high to beat is way back here, and we still haven't taken that high out yet. That's T2123, 15-minute. Now we'll look at the same product on the 3-bar chart. You can see we're up over a rising 200 SMA right there, simple moving average. So price action up here in the middle of quadrant 4, that's going to be bullish. We're up over the rising 200. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. We have not made lower lows. The low to beat was down here. They did not get down there, so they're still in an uptrend on the bigger time frame. So they are bullish, still in an uptrend. Now, if these red dots happen to make several more series of red dots that happen to take out that low, we will convert the uptrend into a downtrend at that point. We'll see what happens. That's T2123. That's the 3-bar chart. Let's take a look at FNGU. Big gap down today, not filled by the bulls, underneath the rising 200. Not where you want to be if you're a bull. If you're a bear, you're loving it. Price action is up there in quadrant 4. I'll pan out. Again, we started our rally back here in March, the end of March. Rallied for 2 months. We're in the middle of quadrant 4. That's bullish, but making lower lows in a downtrend for FNGU. U.S. dollar index, you can see right here. Here is a daily downtrend for 6 months, only to transition into a bear flag. We broke all of these valley lows, which represent the major support. Price action still in a daily uptrend in the bear flag, okay? Remember, move down and then over to the right. So this is a bear flag, all right? 6 months down, 10 months over to the right. And you can see we have a high here. We made a higher high. That means we're in an uptrend. So we got an uptrend on the daily chart in the bear flag for the US dollar index right there. Okay, so I'll take questions in the room. If there's any questions, go ahead and ask them. Where's Robert? Is Robert here? He's got to have something. Probably wants me to have a look at. We'll pause it and wait for Robert to show up. Little lesson. We'll go over a little lesson right here today. Okay, so in the morning we had a surplus of negative gamma exposure. Big strikes with lots of money behind them. But notice it kind of all sold off here. If you want to look at the negative gamma exposure right now, and that would be right here. See how that negative gamma exposure has almost completely sold off right there. All right, that's dealers ridding themselves of that gamma exposure right there on that negative gamma exposure. So big time sell off. When that sells off, price goes up. So you can see what price did today. Price did nothing but go up almost all day. And we'll push this up. All right, and we'll take this over to SPY. And we'll pull up the 5-minute chart. You can see price starts here and it ends here, almost darn near the high of day up there. So 10-minute uptrend all day long. Look at the 3 and the 8. Got some distance between the 3 and the 8. 10-minute uptrend all the way into the close. We got looks like a couple more candles and then that's it right there. So where was the price target? 757.50 was my target. We got up to 758.40 right up there. You can see that's always a price target right there. So they'll probably look to pull back and find support right on that. See that valley between the two peaks? So looking for price to pull back to this valley and then J-hook off of it and make a new all-time high. So here's price pulling back here. Now, big dip yesterday. Price coming all the way down to the 750 area. If you were in the trading room, all right, you would have got a alert in the trading room notifying you that price was doing a triple top and there was a good chance price would probably come down to 750. Here's the alert right up here. And there we go. Blast that open. Okay, so you can see price. You got a top over here. We got a top over here. And then we got the triple top here. All right, so traders, price is about to do the unconventional triple top. We could experience a hard fall to 750. I want you to be prepared. Okay, notice price right here, 759.83. Okay, and you look at where price went to, and you notice that was listed right up here. Okay, at 115 yesterday, long before it went to 750. All right, and then you look at the price action today. Where's the low of today? Well, with the pre-market on there, we could add the pre-market. Okay, so with the pre-market on there, you can see the lows. Again, the bottom of that range that we were in today, all the way down to, well, 749.93, 95. Okay, so not too shabby right there. pretty much nailed it right on the numbers, picking off that price to come all the way back to 750. All right, that's going to be it for me for today. I'll catch up with anybody else. In the morning, I'd be looking for price to pull back to this and then J-hook off there, make a new all-time high overnight, or start working their way towards, probably consolidate up here. All right, between 758, 757, probably 758, 756. Probably spike this area and then climb back on top of it. All right. Any questions, traders? If there's anything I can answer for you, go ahead and put it out there. If not, I'm going to call it a day. Don't forget to watch my video. All right. If you weren't here, there's the video for today, for this morning. All right, I'll see you guys all tomorrow about 8 o'clock. Thank you.